What if someone told you it's possible to lower your blood sugar without saying goodbye to the foods you love, like warm biscuits, baked potatoes, or a slice of pie at the church potluck? For most folks over 60, that sounds like a sweet dream. But recent discoveries are proving just that. Across kitchen tables in Georgia, porches in Texas, and breakfast counters in small-town diners, older Americans are finding new ways to manage their sugar without cutting out every last carb. Turns out, the enemy isn't just the bread on the plate. It's the speed at which that bread becomes sugar in the bloodstream. Carbohydrates are, in simple terms, pure glucose. That's the same sugar doctors talk about in those dreaded lab results. But not all carbs act the same way. Some hit the body like a freight train, others more like a lazy river. Scientists have started to map out which ones cause sharp spikes and which ones let the body ease into digestion. But more than that, they've uncovered strategies, some as old as Grandma's kitchen, that help the body handle carbs better, even when eaten daily. It's not about total restriction, but smarter timing, smarter combinations, and a few surprisingly easy tricks. Across small studies and real-life stories, there's a pattern. Folks who applied just a few of these techniques, like changing the order of food on the plate or walking right after dinner, saw their sugar levels drop without feeling starved. No extreme diets, no strange supplements, just practical habits rooted in common sense and a little guidance. And for many, it brought back a sense of control over meals, over energy, over their day-to-day comfort. God's grace and good science working together. This video will walk through 9 proven strategies to lower blood sugar naturally, even while still enjoying bread, rice, or that occasional slice of apple pie. Some of these tips are so simple, they'll make you shake your head and wonder why nobody told you sooner. Others come straight from recent research, simplified so anyone can follow. But each one has the power to make life just a bit easier, and mornings a whole lot steadier. No need to fear every carb. There's a way to outsmart the spike. And if you're someone who's ever felt defeated after a meal, or stare at your plate wondering what's still safe to eat, this video might just bring a little hope back to your table. Stick around, take notes, and maybe even share this with a friend at church or your daughter who's worried about you. Sometimes, the biggest changes come from the smallest shifts. If you find this helpful, feel free to share it with someone you care about. Let's spread good habits, one plate at a time. Number 9, lowering total carbohydrates. In a quiet kitchen in Kentucky, an old man swapped his morning toast for a couple scrambled eggs, and that one small change made a big difference. For folks over 60, cutting back on total carbs doesn't mean going hungry or saying goodbye to flavor. It simply means choosing foods that don't turn into sugar quite so fast. The low-carb idea isn't some modern fad. It's really just going back to the way meals were before everything came in a box or a bag. More eggs and vegetables, fewer crackers and cereals. She remembers when lunch used to be a sandwich, chips, and a cookie. Now, it's sliced turkey rolled in lettuce with some olives and a pickle on the side, and somehow she's got more energy in the afternoon than she used to. Carbs, especially refined ones like white bread and sugary snacks, are fast-burning fuel. They flood the system with glucose, causing spikes and crashes that leave folks feeling tired, foggy, and cranky. Reducing the total amount of these carbs gives the body a break and lets insulin do its job without overworking. Back in the day, folks didn't count carbs. They just cooked real food. Today, even a simple breakfast cereal can pack 40 grams of sugar-like carbs before 8 a.m. That's why switching whole, unprocessed foods like eggs, avocados, cheese, or vegetables can have such a powerful effect. It's not about starving, it's about balance. Less toast, more bacon. Less pasta, more roasted veggies with butter. And if someone misses a crunch of chips, pork rinds or cucumber slices can fill the gap. Interestingly, many older adults who cut back on carbs notice improvements beyond just blood sugar. Less bloating, clearer thinking, and steadier moods are often part of the package. And it's not about perfection. It's about progress. Even cutting carbs at just one meal a day can be a strong step forward. The body notices. The numbers on the meter reflect it. And maybe, just maybe, there's a little more peace at bedtime, knowing that sugar didn't win the day. Sometimes the simplest changes bring the most comfort. One man thanked the Lord just last week because after 2 weeks of lowering carbs, he walked up the stairs without stopping halfway. That's no small thing. That's the kind of result that reminds us God gave us bodies that can heal when we give them the right care. Number 8, giving the body time to rest, intermittent fasting. At sunrise in small-town Alabama, a woman pours her morning coffee and waits just a little longer for breakfast. Not because she's punishing herself, but because she's learned her body works better when it has time to rest. Intermittent fasting isn't about starving. It's about letting the body use up the sugar it already is before adding more. For many over 60, this simple shift has brought more clarity, more energy, and yes, better blood sugar numbers. Most folks grew up hearing that breakfast was the most important meal of the day. But back then, people weren't snacking all day long. Today, eating starts at 7 a.m. and doesn't stop till 9 at night. That constant flow of food keeps insulin levels high and sugar trapped in the blood. By giving the body a break, a fasting window of 12 to 16 hours, insulin finally gets a chance to bring sugar levels down naturally, without medication doing all the work. Some seniors start with an easy pattern. Finish dinner by 6 p.m. and wait until 10 a.m. the next day for breakfast. That still allows a hot cup of coffee in the morning, just without cream or sugar. Others prefer skipping breakfast and having lunch and dinner in an 8-hour window. No matter the rhythm, the goal is to shrink the eating window and stretch the time the body spends in a cleanup mode. During that time, it starts burning stored sugar and even a little fat. One gentleman at church said he felt like his body finally stopped yelling at him after trying this for just a week. His knees hurt less, his naps felt deeper, and his sugar numbers dropped a few points. Fasting helps not just with sugar, but also with inflammation and cravings. And it doesn't cost a penny. No fancy gadgets. Just a little patience and consistency. Many folks even say their appreciation for food deepens when meals are earned with time. Sometimes it takes stepping back to move forward. Giving the body space to heal is one of the most natural things we can do, and one of the most overlooked. It's not extreme. It's not new. In fact, even in the Bible, periods of fasting were used for rest and renewal. For many, it's both a physical and spiritual reset, and a daily reminder that less can sometimes be more. Number 7, feeding the gut, not the sugar, fiber first. The smell of collard greens simmering on the stove brings back memories of Sunday dinners and family prayers before the meal. What most folks didn't know back then is that greens like those are packed with something powerful, fiber. Unlike regular carbs, fiber doesn't turn into sugar. It slows things down, keeps digestion steady, and helps the body avoid those sharp sugar spikes that leave people feeling shaky or sleepy. For anyone trying to manage blood sugar, fiber is a quiet hero. A bowl of beans or a handful of sunflower seeds might not sound exciting, but they work wonders inside the body. When paired with carbs, fiber acts like a traffic light, telling sugar to slow down before flooding the bloodstream. That's why adding just a little extra fiber to each meal can make a big difference. Whether it's flaxseed on yogurt, chia in oatmeal, or steamed broccoli with dinner, the goal is simple. Fill the plate with foods that nourish, not rush. One woman from Mississippi shared how her morning changed when she swapped out her sugary cereal for steel-cut oats topped with berries and nuts. She said the energy lasted longer, and she didn't feel hungry again before noon. Fiber keeps you fuller longer, and that means fewer snacks, fewer temptations, and steadier numbers. Plus, it helps with digestion, keeping things regular without the need for pills or powders. For older adults, fiber does more than manage sugar. It helps protect the heart, keeps cholesterol in check, and supports a healthier gut. A strong gut means a stronger immune system, something everyone needs more with age. And the beauty is, fiber isn't expensive. Cabbage, carrots, lentils, these aren't superfoods from far away. They're humble, everyday ingredients that have fed generations. Some folks say they feel lighter after just a week of adding fiber-rich foods to their meals. And that's not just in body, it's in spirit too. There's something comforting about eating the way our grandparents did. Real food from the earth, eaten with care. As one man said after his checkup, "Thank God for beans and greens. I didn't know they'd be my best medicine. Number 6, not all carbs are created equal. Choose slow ones. At the breakfast table, 2 bowls of oatmeal might look the same, but inside the body, they behave very differently. Instant oats, soft and quick, turn to sugar almost as fast as candy. Steel-cut oats, on the other hand, take their time. They move through the body slowly, gently raising blood sugar instead of flooding it. This is the heart of the glycemic index, a simple way to tell how fast a carb turns into glucose. And for folks watching their sugar, that speed makes all the difference. In a small study, 2 groups ate the same breakfast, just different kinds of oats. The ones who had the quick oats were hungry again within an hour. The others, with the slow oats, stayed full much longer. That's because slow carbs don't just help with sugar, they help with hunger, too. Choosing low glycemic carbs means steadier energy, fewer cravings, and fewer spikes that can wear the body out over time. Sweet potatoes, lentils, barley, and whole fruit are great examples. They taste good, feel satisfying, and don't cause those sugar roller coasters. A sandwich made with sprouted grain bread affects a body less than one with white bread. Even if they both look similar, it's a matter of how fast the body turns them into fuel. The slower the better. For many older adults, these swaps are simple once they understand the why behind them. One man in Tennessee said he never knew bananas could be so different. A green tinted banana keeps his sugar steady, while spotted ripe one sends it soaring. It's little things like that, small adjustments, that add up to better control. No need to count every gram or memorize long charts. Just pick the version that digests slower, and the body will thank you in its own quiet way. Maybe through better sleep, more energy, or fewer dizzy spells. There's a kind of peace in learning how food works. Not fearing it, not avoiding it, just understanding it. For many, low glycemic eating isn't a diet at all. It's a return to patience. Slower meals, smarter choices, and maybe even fewer pills down the line. As one woman put with a smile, the slower the carb, the sweeter my mornings feel. Number 5, saving carbs for last, a simple trick that works. In a cozy diner outside of Tulsa, a retired couple orders their usual: grilled chicken, green beans, and a small baked potato. But this time, they've learned something new. They eat the chicken and greens first and save the potato for the end. It seems like a small thing, but science shows it can make a big difference. Eating protein and fiber before carbs helps slow down the sugar rush, giving the body a chance to process food more gently. Imagine a line of folks waiting to enter a small-town church. If everyone pushes in at once, there's chaos. But if they walk in slowly, one by one, there's peace. That's what happens inside the body when carbs are eaten last. Protein and fat coat the stomach, slowing digestion, so the sugar from carbs doesn't hit the bloodstream all at once. One study showed that blood sugar spikes were cut by nearly 30% just by changing the order of foods at a meal. A man from Arkansas tested this during dinner. Instead of starting with bread, he began with grilled fish and salad. He waited until the end to have a spoonful of rice. He said his meter barely budged afterward. It's not about eating less. It's about eating smarter. The same meal, same portions, different order. And the results? Calmer sugar levels, fewer energy crashes, and more stable afternoons. This strategy doesn't require giving up favorite foods. It just means putting them at the tail end of the meal. Carbs like corn, bread, or fruit still have their place. They just don't lead the parade. For older folks who feel overwhelmed by diet rules, this one's a breath of fresh air. No counting, no tracking, just a fork and a little patience. Sometimes, wisdom shows up in the smallest shifts. Changing the order on a plate isn't flashy, but it's powerful. One woman said it gave her back the freedom to enjoy family dinners again without worry. And that kind of peace, well, she said it best. It feels like grace at the table every time. Number 4, dress your carbs, no more naked bites. A slice of white bread, a plain banana, a few crackers. These might seem innocent enough, but when eaten alone, these naked carbs rush into the bloodstream like kids running wild to the church hall. There's nothing to slow them down. That's why adding a little fat, fiber, or acid can change everything. It's like sending in a chaperone. A spoonful of peanut butter with that banana, some butter on that bread, or a drizzle of olive oil on those crackers. Suddenly, the sugar hits softer and slower. Back when folks cooked every meal from scratch, carbs rarely came alone. Cornbread was eaten with greens and ham. Potatoes had butter and gravy. Fruit was part of a full meal. Today, with grab-and-go snacks everywhere, people forget that the body handles carbs better when they're paired with something. It's not about removing the carbs. It's about giving them company, something to ease the impact and help the body cope. One man from South Carolina started adding apple cider vinegar to his salads. Just a splash. After a few weeks, he noticed fewer blood sugar spikes after meals. Vinegar, lemon juice, even pickles. These acidic touches help slow down digestion. And fats like avocado, nuts, and full-fat cheese do the same. They coat the stomach, reduce sugar absorption, and keep hunger at bay. That's why Mediterranean diets, rich in healthy fats, have shown such powerful results. It doesn't take fancy foods or complicated recipes. A boiled egg with fruit, cheese with whole grain crackers, a small handful of almonds before a piece of cornbread. These little habits stack up over time. And for many older adults, they offer control without having to say no to everything sweet or starchy. It's like giving your body a partner in the dance, instead of sending it alone into the spotlight. One woman said the simple change made her feel less guilty around food. "I don't feel like I'm cheating anymore. I'm just balancing better," she said. And that balance brings confidence, comfort, and a little more joy at every meal. Sometimes it's not about what you take away. It's about what you add to make it just right. Number 3, cool it down, the power of resistant starch. Leftover potatoes from Sunday dinner might seem like nothing special, but let them cool overnight and they become something powerful. Resistant starch. When starchy foods like rice, pasta, or potatoes are cooked, cooled, and then eaten later, their structure changes. Instead of turning into sugar quickly, they act more like fiber, passing slowly through the system and feeding good gut bacteria. For folks over 60, this trick is both simple and surprising. Imagine reheated rice with a splash of vinegar or cold potato salad made with olive oil and herbs. Not only do these meals taste great on a hot summer day, but they also cause much smaller blood sugar spikes than fresh, hot starches. One study found that cooled white rice raised blood sugar less than freshly cooked brown rice. That's the magic of resistant starch. It turns everyday carbs into something gentler on the body. A gentleman from Ohio swears by his chilled mash, a bowl of cold mashed potatoes with sour cream and chives. He says it keeps his sugar levels steady and even helps with digestion. Some folks prefer pasta salad, made the old-fashioned way with vinegar and mustard. Others enjoy overnight oats straight from the fridge. The key is letting the starch cool, so its molecules lock into a slower, more resistant form. Resistant starch doesn't just help with glucose. It also supports gut health, helps you feel fuller longer, and may even reduce inflammation. For older adults who grew up with meat and potato dinners, this is a way to enjoy familiar foods in a smarter way. No strange ingredients. No complex rules. Just cook, cool, and eat. And when paired with healthy fats or acids, the effect gets even stronger. One woman said it reminded her of her mother's potato salad. Only now, it's also her blood sugar salad. That kind of comfort, rooted in memory and healing, is rare. It shows how wisdom and science can meet right at the kitchen table. And sometimes, the answer really is in yesterday's leftovers. Number 2, a 15-minute walk, the best after-dinner medicine. After dinner, while the sky turns soft and orange, an older couple in Texas takes a slow walk down their gravel driveway. They've made it a habit, not for weight loss, not for steps, but to help their bodies handle the meal they just enjoyed. Just 10 to 15 minutes of gentle walking after eating can lower blood sugar levels, especially in older adults. It's one of the simplest, most natural ways to help the body process glucose. No equipment, no cost, just movement. When we eat, sugar from the food travels into the bloodstream. Muscles are one of the first places that sugar goes for storage and use. But muscles need to be active to open the door. That's why walking after a meal is so effective. It tells the body, Hey, we need that sugar now. And the body responds by pulling out of the blood more quickly. Studies show this works better than walking before meals or hours later. The timing is key. A man in Missouri said he never thought a stroll to the mailbox and back could help his sugar, but his meter proved it. Now, after lunch and dinner, he walks a few laps around the yard. Nothing intense, just a steady pace. He says it helps his legs feel lighter and his stomach less bloated. For many seniors, it's also a peaceful way to wind down and reflect, especially when the house gets quiet in the evening. It's not about exercise in the gym sense. No need for running shoes or fancy outfits. Just a comfortable walk. Even indoors, even in place. Some folks turn on gospel music and walk around the kitchen. Others walk to the end of the street and wave to neighbors. That gentle movement helps lower the post-meal sugar spike and can also improve sleep and digestion later that night. One woman from Georgia calls it her prayer walk. She uses the time to thank God for her health, for the food she just had, and for another day lived well. That moment of movement becomes more than physical. It becomes sacred. And in that quiet walk, the body heals, the mind calms, and the sugar settles. Sometimes, the best medicine doesn't come from a bottle. It comes from putting one foot in front of the other. Number 1, eat early, sleep better. Timing matters. The kitchen clock strikes 7 p.m., and in many Southern homes, supper is already done. There's a reason older generations ate early, long before research proved it. Heavy meals late at night don't just sit heavy in the stomach. They push blood sugar higher and keep insulin working overtime when the body should be resting. For folks over 60, shifting the biggest meal of the day to earlier hours can bring powerful results. Better sleep, gentler mornings, and lower fasting sugar. When we eat late, the body's natural rhythm, the circadian clock, gets thrown off. Digestion slows in the evening, and insulin becomes less efficient. That means sugar from a late meal hangs around longer in the blood, leading to higher readings in the morning. Studies comparing early versus late dinners found that those who ate earlier had better glucose control and even less fat around the belly. It's not just what you eat, it's when you eat it. A man in North Carolina used to snack at 9 p.m., a bowl of cereal, a sandwich, sometimes even pie. Once he moved dinner to 5:30 and cut snacks after 7, he noticed something unexpected. He slept deeper. His sugar was lower in the morning, and he no longer woke up groggy or bloated. He didn't change the food itself, just the timing. That small shift gave his body the rest it had been missing. Some families now eat their largest meal at lunchtime and have something light in the evening, like soup, salad, or eggs. Others enjoy a big breakfast and taper down through the day. The pattern doesn't have to be strict. It just needs to respect the body's clock. Eating too late forces the system to work overtime when it's trying to shut down. And that ongoing stress adds up, especially for hearts and livers that have seen many decades. One woman said she used to fall asleep right after a heavy dinner, but she'd wake up at 2 a.m. every time. Since eating earlier, she rests through the night. It's like my body's finally at peace, she said. Sometimes, honoring the body's natural rhythm is the most loving thing we can do for our health, our energy, and our faith in a better tomorrow. 9 small shifts, each one rooted in real life, not restriction. From walking after supper to chilling your rice, from dressing your carbs to simply eating dinner a bit earlier. None of these require giving up the foods that bring joy. They just ask for a little timing, a little pairing, a little patience. For those over 60, these aren't tricks. They're tools. And when used with care, they can bring peace to the plate and steadiness to the day. Let's recap the journey. 1. Cut back on total carbs with smart swaps. 2. Try intermittent fasting to give the body a break. 3. Add more fiber to every meal. 4. Choose low glycemic carbs that release slow and steady. 5. Eat carbs last on your plate. 6. Never eat carbs naked. Add fat or acid. 7. Use resistant starch by cooling your rice or potatoes. 8. Walk for 15 minutes after meals. 9. Avoid heavy meals late at night. These aren't about being perfect. They're about giving the body what it needs to function with grace. The beauty is, you don't have to do all 9. Start with just one. Try eating dinner an hour earlier this week. Or take a walk after your next lunch. See how your body feels. Listen to it. Talk with your doctor if you're on medications, especially insulin or blood sugar meds, before making big changes. These strategies are powerful, but they work best when used safely, with the right guidance for your unique body. One man said he felt like his life started settling again, his meals, his energy, his spirit. That's the real gift of these habits. Not just numbers on a chart, but comfort in your clothes, peace in your sleep, and clarity in your thoughts. And for many, that means getting back to doing the things they love, gardening, walking the dog, reading scripture in the morning light. It's never too late to feel a little better than yesterday. So now it's your turn. Which of these 9 will you try first? Let us know in the comments. Your story might encourage someone else to begin. Share this video with a friend, a neighbor, or a loved one who could use a little hope at mealtime. And above all, take care of yourself, give thanks for each day, and may God bless y'all with steady steps and joyful hearts.